my god. So I just had the craziest game in the Tashcant. So I'm going to be going over what I'm kind of working with in terms of commanders. So I'm going to be using Vladimir Turbetskoy, and I'm going for increased torp speed. I've messed around with observant range. It's not really crazy, and I feel like the torp, 4 kilometers on your torps is pretty solid. Look at me now for the decreased detectability. I think is almost a must. Mortar is kind of a waste of time. It just gives you way too many debuffs. It gives you plus 5% detectability and even plus 10% at rank 12. So to be honest, I think that perk needs to be worked off a little bit and needs to be tweaked. Funny enough, I'm not using playing with fire. The shell damage just really hurts you a lot in terms of playing with destroyers. And to be honest, I didn't really see much in terms of the fire starting capabilities at level 2, so it would have to be super maxed out for me to really say that it might be viable. So we went with Twist and Track, Smoke on the Water, Cloudy Days. I just go with Smoke on the Water because Cloudy Days gives you too many debuffs in my opinion. And Unstoppable, which is kind of a hidden gem. Reduce engine repair time and gain reduced mobility with a disabled engine, which is huge because if you have played destroyers a lot, that means that you will have a disabled engine quite a bit. So for the inspirations, I go with William Sims, and honestly, this isn't set in stone. I think he's a great inspiration for DDs as well, especially if you have him at a super high level. At this level, I can get almost like 2,500 more hit points, which I think on a DD is pretty solid. And Arleigh Burke, again, this is just playing off of some games, and I think something that I worried about with the Tashcant is that the dispersion is god awful with the guns, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to slap Eric Bay on here to get more detectability. I'm going to try and increase the guns, and I tried Antoine Guerin for the AP shell penetration, but it just really didn't seem to do too much, so I just slapped on Berg here, and it worked pretty well. So that's going to be the commander setup for Tubetskoy, or for Tashcant for me right now. I would love to play with Guerin, but as you can tell from this, he just doesn't, he's not level 11, so it might be my next invest, I'm not sure. We'll have to see, but that is going to be it for this portion. Let's get into the gameplay. Alright, what's going on guys? Chile Games here back again, and we finally got somewhat of a decent game in the Tashcant that I feel like you guys could somewhat enjoy. And this game goes down right to the wire, and oh, it was close. So, as you saw in the little introduction part of the commander, we're using Twist and Track, which I feel like was a huge benefit for us. We see that they have a Kagero, Akatsuki, and a Moss, so honestly, any destroyer is not a good destroyer when you're coming up against them. Even like a Kagero Akatsuki can outspot me by about a kilometer at least. My detection is like 6.2 in this thing, so they have a lot of time to kind of like make adjustments and spot me and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I was very careful going into this cap here. And sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Oh God, I had to sneeze. Oh, that's the worst feeling ever when you have to sneeze and you just don't. So, oh God. Ow, my eyes are watering now. Anyways, we're just shooting off these torps here because the reload's so fast, and you know, we might get lucky, we might not. We hop into this cap, immediately see that it is being contested, so I am not going to stick around. I know the Akatsuki and the Kagero are in a division, so I really don't want to get ganged up on, because both of those guys shooting at me can do a lot of work really quickly. Never underestimate the guns on the Japanese destroyers. They are actually quite good. So we decide to play it safe for a lot of the, I'm guessing the first half of this game, and it really sucks because I wanted to go play with the battleships, but I kind of figured, you know what, like I might as well try and get this cap, like, oh well. So this might seem pretty boring, but I'm at this point in time, I'm thinking that this is both the Akatsuki and Kagero, so I'm playing it super close, and I really don't want to get spotted here. I also realized that my entire team is coming this way, so I'm kind of stuck here. I'm pretty much a barrier right now for between destroyer and battleships here, and I mean this is, I don't know. Our team is kind of somewhat pushing, so I can't complain too much. However, they're kind of just out in open water, and you see their team there. They're all behind islands, making good use of cover, and we aren't. So at this point, I'm kind of figuring like, oh, this is gonna be rough. So I'm basically backing in here, expecting to get either notice torps or be spotted. And at this point, I still don't know who's here. I'm very confused on whoever this person is playing, and I assume that I have to assume that he had twist and track as well, because we figure out that it is actually the Moss, and you'll see that in a couple minutes. And I should have realized that here. However, the Kagero also has 2x4 torps, or 4x2, I guess is how you say it. 2 sets of 4. So I still think that this is the Kagero here. So kind of bad playing on my part. I probably should have looked around on the map. However, I don't think the other destroyers down there at the bottom of the map, they're so far away I wouldn't be able to see their name, so I still wouldn't be able to figure it out. At this point, I get tired of this. Like, I'm like, screw this crap. I think it's right here. I turn it into the cap here. I just get so bored playing like this, and the one thing I didn't want to do, the one thing you don't want to do with Tashcant is get caught kind of going forward and then get spotted and then have to turn out, because one, your turn circle is not the greatest. Two, your guns traverse very slowly compared to other DDs, so if you get caught going straight into something, it's going to take you a while to actually turn around and disengage. So that's why I was very cautious, because I really didn't want to get outspotted by both of those destroyers and just get absolutely melted. So we say screw it here, we're going for the cap, and figure out that it is the Moss. So I'm not sure how he got spotted by a plane. It must have been, you know, that battleship right there, which is, you know, his plane, so it's fine. So we know where he is. I want to take a shot at this Iowa, however, I would have been spotted from him. So the Moss, if he was paying attention, could see that, and he could have gotten some free shots at me, and I couldn't be able to shoot back. So at this point, we're kind of just laying low. We know that he shot torps at our friendly battleship, so our biggest thing to do right here is actually just cap the base and make sure that we get it. And it's going to come down to seconds here, and I shoot there like an idiot. I don't know what I was thinking. Since I was spotted, I was like, you know what, this guy's going to be occupied with the battleship here, so I should be fine to get this cap. And do we get attacked here? No, yeah, this is where I smoke up. I play it safe here. I really didn't want to get reset just because, you know, that would have really slowed this entire process down. So I was a little bit of a misplay on my part. I could have, you know, done without shooting there, but I just get so antsy, dude. That's what I'm working on patience with DDs, and sometimes, especially with cruisers, sometimes you can force situations. But with DDs, sometimes if you get stuck in and you make a bad decision, you know, you've lost a third of your health. And usually that's pretty generous. So at this point in time, we're just gonna try and knock down this Iowa. We're still sitting in here. If that Moss didn't get spotted there, I would have definitely left this smoke screen probably immediately. And here's another example of me not being patient enough. If I would have waited a couple more seconds with those torps, I would have realized that the Iowa would have been turning out here. And that's just the thing that I have to preach to people and preach to myself, is just be patient, you know. Luckily with these torps, they're pretty fast reloading, but still could have been a lot better in our favor. I decided to shoot Moss here because the shell velocity is very good on the Tashcant, so you can hit shots like that pretty consistently. And going back to what I was saying, you see we knocked his engine out here, which actually is going to be very clutch. Moss doesn't have damage control right now. But what I was saying is if we didn't spot the Moss before, I would have left this cap, because the last thing I wanted him to do was sneak up on me and sonar me and blind fire me, and I couldn't see. So we have 2 fires burning on the Iowa. We take a chance here. We have to get out of here. And I'm not really afraid of how much damage Iowa can do to me right here. My best bet is to just get out of here. If Iowa does decide to shoot me, you know, he gets like 1 or 2, 3, 4 hits on me, and you know, Tashcant has so much health, he can kind of get away with that. So Moss, as you see, has no damage control, so he's stuck here. So that was, you know, if you have a chance to shoot a destroyer, take it, because you know, results like this can happen. It can really work out for your team. Unfortunately, well, he gets his steering knocked out. Unfortunate for him, but we don't get the kill there. It was very close, and luckily York does. That's a huge kill on York's side, and this York actually does a really impressive play here in just a minute. We saw that the Kagero was in the B cap earlier, so I am actually going to go contest this destroyer here. We've got to kill him, because they have had 2 caps for a long time now. We are actually losing by a ship, so we have a lot of work to do here. This is where the York comes in super clutch. Definitely won us the game here. Well, there's a lot of chances. You see, he gets sonarred here. This Kagero is sonarred and ultimately screwed. I'm in the perfect spot to take advantage of this, and super well played on that guy's part. So, congrats to him. Yeah, we thought to thank you, because that was very nice. We needed that Kagero dead instantly, and that, you know, worked out in our favor. So what do we got here? We have an Iowa flanking us, which, I mean, their team is in a pretty good spot here. Like, this York has, our York is almost dead, and they have 2 pretty healthy battleships in B, Iowa that's pretty healthy, and Kutuzov that's just laying waste to us. And we are going to be down to about, what is this battleship behind me here? Well, newsflash, this battleship that's pushing into 4 ships dies pretty quickly, so at this point in time, I'm trying to kind of draw fire away from from our other ships, since I have health to spare right now. I'm pretty much saying, please shoot me, don't shoot my teammates, and we get away with it there, only 1 shot, so trying to figure out best ways to kind of do that with Tashcant. I just feel like I get hit so many times. But you see, we get the no-look torp hit on King George there, so that was pretty clutch and pretty not clutch for that guy sailing in a straight line. So we'll take it. Honestly, we're still not in any good spots here. We are ahead by a little bit, but that is going to change very soon. You see our Bismarck there; it has not very good prognosis, I should say. Luckily, he gets 1 last shot off at this Iowa, does a good bit of chunk damage, and again, we take a volley from Iowa, which is essentially a volley that could have been shot at those cruisers that could have killed them. So, you know, I'm getting the hang of kiting with this thing, and I feel like I'm a pretty decent player at kiting ships, but this thing is just, it's definitely different, and its playstyle is different, and it's a little bit more difficult, and I think a lot of that is because it kind of suffers from range a little bit. I know Antoine, you can get up to about 12 kilometers with the flag, just over. Luckily, we escaped that. Iowa goes down. The reason why I left is because we have to get a cap here or we're going to lose. And you see their enemy Gneisenau is already trying to disengage and run. Take a quick little shot here, I'm not too sure. I'm just worried to death that my teammates are going to get crapped out on here, and honestly, I didn't really want to get shot getting spotted by these planes and they suddenly disappear, so I was like, okay. So my next goal is to get into this cap as quick as possible and capture this base, and effectively try and hunt down that Gneisenau, because they're trying to disengage and win the game. They are making the right decision here, absolutely 100% correct. Disengaging wins them the game here, so fortunately, This is where Tashcant shines. We are approaching this man at, or I assume, approaching this guy at 40 plus knots, so we can kind of cover this ground quickly. And this is kind of where the the game almost goes for a not a good sign, but I'll just wait a little bit, just wait a little bit. So Ganazinal's doing a good job of trying to disengage here. However, we have almost got this cap here. So I realized that I would be detected here. So I'm not trying to take a shot yet. I'm gonna wait to shoot to where he won't have enough time to shoot back and kind of cap this base. So I am spotted now. I take a shot. Luckily for us, I mean, it doesn't matter if we get hit after the fact. We capture the base. That's all that matters. If this Ganizenau took that much health off of us in like 2 salvos, I would have given him a medal. So at this point in time, we're trying to kill this guy. It doesn't matter if we're shooting. He will not be able to kill us alone. It's just not in Ganizenau's arsenal. So we're trying to gun this guy down. And notice the points. They're at like 730, 740. We're almost at 580 here. So really kind of dire situations. Like, we need these kills now. And if you realize, it is now 680 to 630. So this is... yeah, this is a tough decision to make. I am theorizing that we're going to win on points. And I'm just begging these guys to get back because they're both very hurt. And Kutuzov definitely can easily clean those guys off if he closed the gap. And what he'll do here in a second. And it scares the crap out of me. I'm almost begging these guys to kind of just like disengage because there's no way they would be able to kill this Kutuzov unless you just sailed broadside. So our only chance of winning this is just to, for our team not to die, essentially, and win on points. So I get kind of worried because I was pretty adamant about pinging like retreat, 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 and I would have been really upset if we were wrong. I would have felt really bad, but I feel like there was a lot of plays in this game that, looking back at it now, made huge impacts on the end of the game here. And as you see, this guy's pushing in. He's making the right decision here. And our York, who is basically one shot, is, you know, they're going for the kill here. And I'm just like, please, dear God, no. You see, we're just about to edge over them on points. And we're going to beat them out here. This was nuts. Throw out the much obliged. That is a GG. Super close game. Not the craziest game in terms of damage, but you know, 4 kills, 100k, super sick win. So we'll take it. Hopefully to get some better games in Tashcant for you guys, but I'm still figuring it out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, leave a like, maybe consider subscribing, and if not, I'll see you later. But thank you guys. Y'all take it easy.